Hi guys, welcome back to another video of Educate channel. So today in this video, we will be dealing with dehydration. So if you haven't subscribed this channel yet, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell icon. So moving to the first and most important part, that is definition. Dehydration refers to a general, systemic or clinical state in which the water content of the body is lower than normal. It is characterized by oliguria, dry mucous membrane, sunken eyes, less elastic skin in the initial stage, followed by lethargy, slow gait, dull behavior, loss of periorbital fat, leathery skin, sternal recumbency, lateral recumbency, and then finally. So in healthy animals, intake of water is maintained by the degree of thirst felt by animals. But when it comes to non-healthy animals, it decreases. So loss of water from the body is a continuous process through urine, feces, sweat, saliva, and respiration. So because of this loss of water is a continuous process, any decrease in the intake will always lead to dehydration. So moving to the etiological factors or the causative factors. Inadequate water intake will always lead to dehydration. So deprivation of water, a lack of thirst in systemic diseases, inability to drink water as in esophageal obstruction and all. So what happens? The water content of the body falls down, but electrolytes are not lost from the body. Next is excessive fluid loss, that is through diarrhea, through vomiting, through polyuria, burns, lactic acidosis, gastric dilatation, acute peritonitis, etc. So, in a very famous viral disease, that is canine parvo infection, continuous hemorrhagic enteritis is present. So, severe diarrhea and vomiting will be there, and dehydration is a very common in case of diarrheic diseases. So, moving to the types of fluid loss. That is, fluid loss in animals can be classified as isotonic loss, hypotonic loss, or hypertonic loss. Osmolality is a measure of all solutes in solution. So, moving to the first one, that is isotonic loss. Fluid lost has an osmolality similar to that of plasma. That is, fluid and electrolytes are lost. In vomiting and diarrhea, fluids and electrolytes are lost at the same time. So with isotonic fluid loss, sodium concentrations are typically normal and hence thirst may not be evident. So isotonic loss result in isotonic dehydration in the body. Always be alert on this point that sodium concentrations are typically normal. Fluids and electrolytes are lost. So next is hypotonic loss. So fluid lost has higher concentration of water than plasma. That is, water is lost in excess and electrolytes in smaller proportions. That is mainly in diabetes insipidus and panty. So when loss is hypotonic dehydration, it's hypertonic. So hypotonic losses result in hypernatremia. Sodium content will be more. So mild hypernatremia can be corrected with isotonic fluid itself. Inadequate water intake is also similar to hypertonic dehydration, in which body contains less water and more sodium. Next is hypertonic loss. This refers to the loss of sodium in excess of water. That is, hypertonic loss result in hypotonic dehydration. Always remember the point. Hypertonic loss results in hypotonic dehydration. So this is actually a very less common situation. Example is hypoadrenocorticism, and the dehydration in horses used for endurance rides is hypotonic dehydration. It's not hypertonic, but it's hypotonic dehydration. Hypertonic result. Hypertonic losses result in hypotonic dehydration. So this is because both sodium and water are lost through sweating. So moving to the pathogenesis. The initial response to negative water balance is withdrawal of fluid from the interstitial and intracellular spaces. So this leads to oliguria and scanty dry feces. So in severe and prolonged cases, blood volume decreases, hemoconcentration increases. Viscosity of blood increases due to hemoconcentration increasing. Acidemia develops, blood and nutrient supply to brain decreases that lead to mental stupors, etc. This makes the animal dull and depressed. Azotemia develops because of the decreased urine output. So in dehydration, fat metabolism increases to produce more water through metabolism. So moving to the clinical signs of dehydration do not become evident until the animals are at least 3 to 5% dehydrated. So reduced or absence of urination, dry, hard or scanty feces, coolness of extremities, that is ear tips, distal part of limbs, etc. will be very cool. Increased CRP, that is greater than 2 seconds. increased heart rate, loss of skin elasticity, dryness of skin and mucosa, dry gums, retraction of the eyeball into the socket, increased PCV and serum protein. So indicators of dehydration, that is elasticity of skin. So skin tending test is the very important test that is performed to check dehydration. Next is recession of eyeball. The second best indicator is the elasticity of the skin of neck and thorax, but recession of the eyeball is also used as a test. So this is clinical signs related to percentage of dehydration for large animals. That is very strong desire to drink. That is mainly present in 0 to 4% dehydration. So what happens in 9 to 12%? That is severe dehydration. Strong desire to live will be there. Weak or no detectable pulse will be there. CRT will be greater than 4 seconds. PCM may be increased. So this is actually the percentage wise column. So calculation of fluid requirement. So fluid deficit in liters is equal to percentage dehydration into body weight. So a 300 kg horse which is 8% dehydrated requires 24 liters of fluid. That is 300 kg into body weight 8 by 100. So it's simple, that is 24 liters of fluid. So this is actually the clinical signs related to percentage of dehydration in pet animals. So what happens? Minimal loss of skin turgor, normal eye will be in 0 to 5%. Whereas when we are moving to 6 to 9% dehydration, moderate loss of skin turgor, dry mucous membranes, weak rapid pulses, enophthalmos. So whenever we are going to visit the 10% greater than dehydration, that is tachycardia, hypotension, altered level of consciousness due to less perfusion of brain, considerable loss of skin turgor. So treatment is actually through fluid deficit should be administered. IV administration is resorted to administer fluid over minimum period of 6 hours to avoid fluid overload. So urination is a good sign of intravenous fluid replenishment. So vomiting and diarrhea, increased plasma volume by isotonic glyceroids and hypertonic saline should be administered. So note, that is water intoxication. Rapid ingestion of large quantities of water can lead to overhydration and swelling of tissues. In primary water deprivation, dehydrated animals are very thirsty when offered water. In dehydration, secondary to enteritis associated with severe inflammation, acidemia, electrolytic imbalance, there may be no desire to drink. So thank you.